Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to another Dr. Jet unscripted, unedited instructional video. You know, some people ask me after the donut, then what? And here's a project I've been working on for a long time. It's one of those that have kind of come and gone and languished. Had some issues in the paint shop, but now it's getting ready to go in again. All this blackness, well, I'll show you in a minute. What we have here is an H&M Micro Drifter that I'm setting up as a twin motor, everything air-cooled. So I have these air-cooled, what are they, waterproof 60 amp servos, ESCs. I have two of them. I have two 1107 1.5Ys. I got a bunch of these from Steve. He was having a sale on them, so I bought a bunch of them. So one went in the donut, and two of them are going in here. I had to put the servo in upside down so the linkage would be a straight shot here, but that's not a big deal. Going to be using these stingers, although these are 32 millimeter props. They're probably too much for that little motor. I'm going to run them on 2S. So these will probably get cut down to 30 millimeters. I may even opt for a two-blade prop. We'll see. So those are going to go on here. Now, the reason for all this blackness is I am blueprinting the ride surfaces. Look at this. So you've seen blueprinting videos before. What I've done is I've sanded the ride surfaces flat, and in some cases sanded through the gel coat in order to get there. And then I build up the surface with a mixture of epoxy, my good MKS L285 epoxy, and graphite, because I like graphite for a ride surface for reasons I've discussed before. Anyway, I'm in the process of building these things up. Build it up, sand it down, build it up, sand it down. For example, you can see right here, right there, where I can still see some of the original in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand that kind of off at an angle, and when I build it up with the next coat, it'll be up a little higher. You can see I still need to add some right in here. And here's a little trick that I do. I don't sand the edges until the very last. I let the epoxy mix hang over the edges. Why? When you're sanding these things, it gets flat, but sometimes it'll round off towards the edges. And so I'm extending those edges out further and further and further every time I add a layer. Then once everything is perfectly flat to my satisfaction, then I'll come in with a sanding block and sand these edges off. What that does is it makes a real sharp edge here and a sharp edge here. You want these edges razor sharp. You want them so you can draw blood. You run your finger across here, and that's what you want. You want sharp edges, flat surfaces. Sharp edges. Another thing you have to look carefully for is the dead rise. That's this angle here. You want to make sure that they're even on both sides. This haul had some inconsistencies on this second step. And on some hauls, it's level across. On this particular haul, you'll see that each step is slightly lower than the previous one. That's just the nature of this design. So it's a little harder, but when sanding, it's not a problem. Here's some of those Delrin blocks that I like so much. These when you glue some wet or dry sandpaper on here, make great sanding blocks. They're dead flat, nice square edges, sharp, and the friction-free surface, if you don't put sandpaper there, gives you a real nice guide without marring up your surface here. So these things just have a number of uses. You know, you get a big box for 20 bucks, and geez, I bought a couple of boxes already. I love these things. Make parts out of them, make stands out of them, all kinds of stuff. These are great to have around the shop. And when you buy a box, you get little ones, big ones, great big ones, a whole assortment of sizes. So there you go, and they're all nice and square, nice and flat. Good stuff. So there you go. There's Dr. Jet's next project, the H&M Micro Drifter Twin. Stay tuned. This ought to be frightening when it's running. So take care and stay tuned for the next episode. By then, I should have these ride pads done, and we'll probably prep it up and get some paint on here. I'm going to do it in a Goldfinger theme, from James Bond to Goldfinger. This is going to be or Goldfinger's boat. It's going to be gold over a white bottom and have some Auric Enterprises decals on it. It'll be cute. So take care, YouTube. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.